was almost forgotten during decades of breakneck oil fueling modernization after World War II in the Gulf. Other events in the region have also been stimulating a revival in the traditional vessel though, including the UAE's annual Al Gaf Al Dau race, now in its 25th year.
Welcome back. As we promised our dear viewers that we are going to shed more light on the mega project which was launched yesterday by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi east of Port Said. Sharq al-Tafri'a, one of the main places of the Suez Canal axis, which is going, inshallah, to witness a lot of development in the coming 2 years. 2 years instead of 3. As usual, we are in a race against time. And among the main keywords which were said yesterday in the head of state speech is that we are challenging the challenge. Such a statement. But it's really very much impressive and expressing how the Egyptians are living this period, very much critical period in their modern history in general, and how it's going to be very much also influential and has a lot of results, inshallah, for the new and coming generations. To shed more light on that, we are very much delighted to have with us live here in the studio our economic expert, Dr. Hussein Shureba. Dr. Shureba, how are you?
Good morning.
A very good morning to you, sir.
Same to you, ma'am.
Good morning, Dr. Shureba. Would you please tell us more about the new project that President Sisi witnessed yesterday, and he mentioned accomplishing, or he gave his orders rather, of accomplishing the project in 2 years' time. It's a very big project, it's a mega project. We would like to know the different steps that should be taken to start this project.
First of all, we would like to thank ourselves as Egyptians. We've been challenged to challenge the time as well as the problems which we have. We do have great problems, such as terrorists, which has hit us as well as hit Europe, France, and everywhere. But
Tunisia, Lebanon,
yeah,
here
everywhere.
in Egypt, everywhere.
And we are challenging this as well as challenging the better future. So we are doing both in one time. And as you have said that you are challenging, as the President said, we are challenging the challenge. He is doing the same thing. The Suez Canal is 196 kilometers. They are starting from the top, which is Port Said, which had already a huge 10 plots. Each one of them is 4 million square meters. These 10 plots, it's a 40,000 million square meters. I want you to imagine it's a 40,000. And you are starting right now with 4 spots immediately. One of them is for petrochemical and very fine industry for Egypt. The second one is fishing area, big fishing area, which you have the Mediterranean and you have the Red Sea. So you have another thing over there. So, and you have the Nile. So you are making another big fishing area like what we have in Upper Egypt, in Abu Simbel.
Yep.
Creating a huge port also in the area is among the
No,
is part of the project.
It is not only creating, this is putting back life to Sinai. Sinai was, in a way or another, lots of speeches was going on, and on the ground there's nothing. So it was speeches. Today you have on the ground, you are doing big project, you have there existing. The other talent things which I do really like, it's the businessmen, the Egyptian businessmen, who are very keen to go. But I'm talking about real businessmen, Egyptian, who are really very interested, not the greedy ones. We know the greedy ones by name and face. But today we do have very excellent ones. They want to promote their type of business there. And when you find that the Egyptians are there, all expats
But
will
sir,
come.
I'm sorry for the interruption, but since you have mentioned businessmen and investment there and how it's going to be a hope and source of attraction, as it should be, to many investors, the real ones, as you've kindly mentioned or described them, the law of investment. I mean, if the atmosphere or the environment there is paved for them to practice their job in investment to fulfill this mission?
Yes. Right now, I see it's the beginning. You can find the one who's appointed there is Dr. Ahmed Darwish. And
to be the head of the General Authority for the Economic Region in the Suez Canal.
Yes.
Okay, let me see this opportunity. Professor Dr. Ahmed Darwish, born in 1959. He has awarded or taken his PhD from California in 1988. And he occupied a lot of positions. Last but not least, from the year 2004 to the year 2011 as the Minister of State for Local Development. This is Dr. Ahmed Darwish in brief, and of course we are going to have the details about his appointment later. Dr. Shureba, I'm sorry for the interruption, but since you have mentioned Dr. Ahmed Darwish, I should say that.
Dr. Ahmed Darwish was, I considered him because I was watching him while I was abroad. I was watching, he's the first one who was bringing up statistics in the last minister before the revolution in 25th of January. So he's a very promising candidate, and this is why I really appreciate what President Sisi have done.
His
and
choice.
Yes. No, the choice was
the
excellent.
right choice.
It's the right choice and the excellent one to do and gain this. But there's an important issue which has been mentioned over there, which is having almost 10,000 apartments will be ready in 2016 for sheltering the people who are going to work there, and that's the beginning. This is the beginning on 4 million square meters. 4 million square meters for this 10,000.
Right. So besides creating, of course, millions of job opportunities, how do you see the importance of the economic impact of this mega project?
We thank God we did explore recently the gas which is found for Egypt, and it will be it will be exporting this to outside. So we're going to have a new way of pipelines in Al Sokhna, and will go through to the Suez Canal. That's one. So petrochemicals, you have the Arab oil. They are going from the Gulf area to the Mediterranean through us, whether through Alexandria or through the Sokhna or through Port Said. So you have three challenging places for them. The other thing, you're going to have the focal point for the petrochemical, and that's the important part of this, because it will be located on the Suez Canal. So you make the industry, you make factories for the petrochemicals over there. It will not, it would create, petrochemical will create at least between 5 to 10,000 jobs immediately. So this will be there. The other thing, which is like one of the big businessmen over here, I don't like to mention names, by excuse me for this. He is in the household where he's one of the big guys. He's going to put the factories there. He have almost like 15 factories already there existing, and he's gonna.
But where are they working? Those factories?
In the east. No, it's not working yet.
Yep.
It's not working yet, but it was built ready, and it is 15 ones, And there
This
was
is
no
another
infrastructure
story.
in it.
We do have hundreds of factories which need, maybe like those one you've mentioned already there, but they did not start working, or they were already working but stopped for the political turmoil which took place for before the 30th of June revolution. But sir, since you have mentioned that, I'd like to express the words of the simple citizen who are not that much having knowledge or acquainted with the economic file. Mega project or mega project means huge sums of money. And when it comes to our budget, we are not that much able to fund those mega projects. And maybe those people are going to think about austerity measures, about what is going to happen to us, how we are going to bear this burden, who is going to bear this burden. Maybe taxes are going to be imposed on Egyptians to be able to deal with that. How can we eliminate those fears? And to speak scientifically about what's going to happen.
When you speak scientifically, you have to recognize one thing. What the wealth of Egypt is today is consisting of one thing. 1/3 of this is already in the banks. And the 2/3 is in the hidden market. So we are going to think positive. How is this? These people who are having the factories going to be operated, this will be in the stock market. The stock market will help the people who have money and hidden them somewhere to bring them out, buy some stocks of these important factories. So there is no taxes will be implemented more for these people, but we will get the money rush
out
and
the
because they're going to benefit.
I think the banks raised the interest rates, of course, and a lot of people are putting more money now in the banks.
When the bank pays
and opening new bank accounts, and this I think will help also.
We had
funding the project.
69 billion Egyptian pounds out of the new issue, but the bank is giving you 12.5%.
Yeah.
Okay. You think the bank will pay 12.5% without no profit?
Of course not.
So the profit of the bank will be at least 25%. So there will be half of this will go to the people, and the other half will go for the expenses of the bank and others, and a net profit will be between 4 to 5%.
But sir, in addition to that, how can we give incentives to investors, local investors and foreign investors, to start injecting money to these mega projects straight away or immediately or on the short term?
You can watch what China have done over there. They have already invested directly $5 billion US. So if you are an Egyptian and you have lots of privilege in this, which is being given to you, like tax-free, like when we give you a certain law, so for getting candidates from abroad, they are, expertise. You can get them easily because you don't have.
But I think there, in specific, according to our national security, the fields of which are going to absorb foreign investments are going to be limited in a way.
No, it's not limited. All these lands is occupied by the Egyptians, and it belongs to the government. It doesn't belong to anyone. So no one is going to own the land. Even on the top of it, there is a factory. Because after a certain period, this goes back to Egypt. So anything you do it over there, it's Egyptian. And it's back again to Egypt. And by the way, let's put in mind one thing. When you have an investor coming to you, building a huge factory, how can he pull out these factories and hold them and put them back anywhere? So the investment needs two things: stability and coordination between law and the way of investment. So stability, we do have it. That's among all, even in France.
It needs a lot of other issues, sir, if you permit me.
Go
it
ahead.
needs to get rid of bureaucracy.
Absolutely, I
It
agree.
needs to think out of the box. It needs, if we do have this idea of the one-stop shop to be implemented on the ground, not only on paper, it needs the imposing law in a very firm way on those violating
and in relation
laws.
to this,
Yeah.
the new investment law, how about the new investment law? I think this is very critical during this timing.
The new investment law is very clear and very sharp about one thing. That's that land belongs to the government. That's very, very to everyone known. The other thing, they give you a periodical of time that you have no taxes, and that's another thing. Also gives you the other third thing, which is the getting expertise, because you are in need to expertise. Today, when you have you have a factory in Egypt, in Cairo, or in somewhere, if you want to get some of the expertise and let them work with you, it's a kind of an impossible. So today, in that area, they give you and they allow you. But let me allow you, what you have said is an excellent thing. Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, we agree 100%. But when you find Ahmed Darwish is there, I know this.
Why I've said that, sir, in specific regarding the word bureaucracy, because when you have mentioned the gas discoveries here in Egypt, I remember just a few days ago, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with the executive manager of Eni, the Italian company responsible for the gas excavations here. And he gave his directives for all those in power to eliminate all the obstacles on the way to let the company practice its work without any bureaucratic issues.
Yes.
Do we need the head of a state to say this himself? Do we need that those directives to be issued and to be released in, for the media to be implemented on the ground? Till when?
Well, let me tell you something. You were, let's say this, you were very sick, and right now you are recovering. When you are recovering, you take your medicine step by step, and you give the pills one by one. You tell them you have to take this. So we are in the recovery way. So when you are in the recovery way, I'm not blaming who have given them the instruction, or I'm not blaming the people who are getting the instruction, because their mind were almost fixed about a way of working. So right now, we are challenging the challenge. So we are trying to tell the people, we are not in need to obstacles. We are in need to a fast way of intelligence and, of course, to get a decision. This is why one of the things I like out of Ahmed Darwish,
Yes.
he is a decision maker.
Yes.
And that's the important thing about Ahmed Darwish. So, although I'm not, because I'm living in the States and he was in the States, and I'm just complimenting him. No, because this gentleman is aware of what he's doing. And in 2010, he was the only minister was bringing out statistics.
Yes.
The only one. Forget about the others.
Yes.
So we back again to the project. So the project, you have a leader right now, knows what he do. We have the project. We have the final project for the 196. So it's not only the East Bank of Port Said, it is the whole concept of the project of the 196. President Sisi is taking care about this project for two things. One of them, which is very important, the safety and security of Egypt. And that's the top of all.
Right, sir, here I would like to ask you, besides, of course, the economic aspect of the project, how do you see the political impact of this project?
Well, the political part, I want you to recognize, the Emirates are very intelligent guys.
They are.
And they recognize that, well, Egypt is a very powerful country in its location with their people, and we do have some money. We can help them, and they can help us. So I want you to recognize that two-thirds, imagine the two-thirds of your housing in Egypt is done by the Emirates. Contractors here. and doing this in Egypt. So how can you put all this money in this area? They are putting
His
another...
Excellency, the UAE Minister, Sultan Al-Qasimi, is spending much more time in Cairo rather than Dubai.
Well, let's take...
He is all the time most welcomed, of course, but this is to echo what you have just said,
Yes.
sir. But to say Naveen's question in other words, is the speech of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi or the inauguration of this mega project yesterday a message sent not only to the Egyptians but to the international community in a way?
It is already sent and it's already went and they have responded and they have, you find that United States is asking lots of things to get the help of Egypt. I don't want to say what's it, but it's lots of things. And the other thing, it's an important message to two countries. One of them is Turkey, which they are smart enough to blow up an aeroplane for the Russian. And we thank them that they have done this, not because they have killed a Russian guy, but they were trying to blow the relationship between Egypt and Russia. And that's an important thing, and you put lots of marks on this. The other thing, what about Qatar? Where is it? Are Qatar not going to stop supporting terrorism with money and funds and places? They better think positive for their country because their time will be very limited in power. This is within the Middle East, the two countries I want to mention. But as for Saudi Arabia and all the Gulf area, there is an excellent relationship because lots of rumors are going on and saying that there is a conflict of interest between Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Absolutely not. There are lots of things are going to be with this. The other thing I want you to know also about it, which is in France. The president is going to meet the minister...
on the sidelines of the UN Climate Summit due to start on Monday, inshallah.
Okay.
And already President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi headed to Paris today.
He's having an excellent visit to Japan next month.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Japan and South Korea.
And here we would like, of course, to you to shed some light on the importance of the climate change summit that's going to be taking place in Paris very soon.
About the climate and this one, I want you to know that the problem is not coming from the Middle East. The problem is coming from China, from Russia,
big powers,
from US, from so they are the problem makers in this. So spending money or getting a solution or doing anything like this, number one, they have to start reducing the pollution there because it's not us, we are getting the headache. They are making the headache.
But I think the U.S. has moved all its industries to China now.
This is according to media.
Yeah.
But on reality,
on the ground?
On the ground, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Sir,
as well as China, by the way.
Yep. Let's return back a little bit to the speech of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi yesterday because it was filled with messages. He said that in 10 to 15 days, we are going to see him in Al-Farafra witnessing a new mega project, that the new city of Rafah is going to be there in front of us with what he named the new modern countryside of Egypt, whether in Farafra or in other places. He said that there are a lot of other projects are already taking place, but we do not speak about them in front of the media for specific reasons he didn't mention. He said that in December, the public are going to witness themselves lowering the prices of many of the main commodities and basic goods. How do you see those points?
This is signals to greedy guys. That's number one. So the greedy guys, they have to know when they are capturing and hiding the products or trying to extend their profits.
Black market, you mean?
If you talk about the black market, I do have one comment on it. There is no black market, there is a dirty market.
Okay.
So it's like everybody says a Black Friday, and
Yep.
so
I think it's also related to profit margin. The profit margin in Egypt is very high, even in comparison to other countries.
we have to make another alert of witnessing what we should buy, what we should get. You do have for cars today a problem because of the taxation which has been done by Ministry of Taxation and Economy. So the people are not buying these cars. So this is awareness. And this is a very good thing. So dealers will not buy the cars. So how can you buy a car with a very overriding the prices? This is, and for this,
Customs.
yeah,
Very
for
high
this
customs, yeah.
particular things, I want you to know one thing. Do you have a car industry in Egypt?
No.
You have only assembling.
Assembling,
Yeah.
only
Assembling.
assembling.
Yeah.
My dear, I should not have $1 or 1 cent or 1 piastre taxation. Why I don't have taxation? I do have to protect my industry. I don't have any industry. I don't want to have any taxation on cars. Why? You will say that I am helping.
I will say, unfortunately, we have 1 minute.
Okay.
If you want to shed more light on the points I mentioned.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
You know, I think from my point of view as economist, I would like to ask the government today to do two things. Remember the two words, we are challenging the challenge. That means bureaucracy, get rid of it. Try to help to the maximum. That's number one. Number two, I want you, for the people, to help the president while he's saying to reduce this. Take whatever you actually need, not to over buying things. The third thing, when the president says that something like this, he's sending another message to people who want Egypt unstable. Better know, Egypt is coming to a very real stable, and it will be the stable country in the Middle East.
Right. With that final note, Dr. Hussein Shureba, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we would like to have you another time to discuss more into the economic aspect of this project. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you, and we have to thank Dr. Ahmed Darwish and thank the President Sisi for
His
appointing.
choice.
Yes, for his
this
choice.
choice. Dear ladies and gentlemen, now we go for a short break and we'll be right back.